Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to Coding with Kenny G. This is episode 5 and we're remaking the Viking Chess Hnefatafl game. So this episode we're gonna do a little bit of fixes and then we're gonna do a little bit more input. Let's have a look at our little list of things to do here. So there was a little mistake I did these last few episodes. I didn't see it actually. But when we are assigning materials to the tiles, the even and odd tiles, it's incorrect. So we need to fix that. And then we're going to make these tiles selectable so you can click on them. And the way that we're going to do that is that we're going to use events for, we're going to implement hover. And then we're gonna implement a selection of a tile. After that, we're gonna set up our actors, which are the game pieces. And this one below, formation creator, we're probably gonna do that next episode. All right, so let's have a look. Inside Visual Studio, there was a mistake in the create board function. So down here, after these if, else, if, and else statement, where we assign the even and odd materials. This was what it said originally, but it was a wrong calculation, which made a just made a wrong geometry. So we're gonna delete everything that it says here. Then we're going to make two brackets, and inside of those we're going to say x plus z, and after the parentheses then we're going to do the modulo operator. So modulo 2 equals 0. So that is it for the even material, and then likewise for the odd material we're going to do the same calculation but equals 1. Alright, let's have a look at how that looks in the game. So there we go. Now it's the correct diagonal, what should we call it? Geometry. Which looks better. We're gonna make this board a little bit nicer later. Alright. So next task is to make these tiles selectable. This is also going to happen in our camera controller over here. So camera controller, and we're going to implement these two events, hover and select tile. So in our events region at the top here, we're going to write public static event system dot action with a payload of tile on tile hover. And likewise we're going to write public static event system dot action with a payload of tile and on tile selected. Right, so the two events are ready to go, and we're gonna have to implement them. So the Ontile Hover is real easy. It's it's gonna fire every time we assign a new current hover tile. So we pretty much just have to write on tile hover question mark point invoke, and then we're gonna send in the current hover tile as payload. And in the if statement below, we're also gonna say that after we have assigned a new current hover tile, we're going to invoke the event on tile hover question mark point invoke current hover tile. There we go. So the on tile hover is now implemented as far as I can tell. And then we're going to allow to select a tile, and this is going to happen by clicking the left mouse button. So after these two if statements where we're checking for hover, we are going to check for input. We know that we are hovering a tile because we are inside this raycast if statement here, and we will only enter this code block if we are actually hitting a tile with our raycast. So, but we're also going to check if current hover tile is not null. So that we have assigned a variable as the currently hovered tile, then we can check inside an if statement there for our input for the left mouse button. So if input.getMouseButton down, that's the one that takes a single click, and we're gonna send in 0 because that's the left mouse button, and then we are going to fire off the event here on tile selected, invoke current hovered tile. There we go. Sorry about that. And yeah, go into Unity. We don't have anything to test if this function works just yet. We can just put in a little debug statement inside our input function here, debug.log. I clicked tile space and the string plus current hovered tile dot name. So let's see here. We're gonna open up the console, press play, and click, and I click tile clone, and there we go. We should have these guys numbered. That will be a little bit more helpful. Yeah, I think we're actually going to do that right now, because then it's easier for you to see what's going on. So when we are creating a tile, I think that we're going to assign this tile a new name. So, and that's real easy to do in code. So in the board creator, inside the create board function, we're going to say after tile array assignment, we're going to say t.name equals tile underscore no spaces plus and then yeah, maybe make it a little bit nice, tile underscore parentheses left and the string plus x plus string comma inside that string plus z plus string, and we're going to close that bracket. So then we can try to, after we've written that little statement there, then we should see that our tiles are then numbered by their actual index in the tile array, which is really helpful. Okay, out into Unity, press play, and then we see that we have each tile indexed here, and when we click, let's say 0, 0, it should say 0, 0, good. Mid tile, yeah, 5, 5, yeah, everything seems to be working as expected. Good. So we can go back into camera controller and remove this debug statement. Cool. So selection of tile is now implemented. Let's check the list. Yeah, we're gonna set up our actor prefabs. So in this game we have 3 of them. So it's the attacker actor, the defender actor, and then finally the king actor. I tend to call for characters and stuff like that in games for actors, because you interact with them, or if they could also be NPCs that just walk around. Alright, so back in Unity, we're just going to set up these prefabs. So we're going to create an empty, and we're going to zero it, and we're going to call this attacker prefab. I usually separate words by underscore, so attacker prefab, and underneath, like we did earlier, we're going to have the actual geometry. So we're going to place a 3D object. It's just going to be a cylinder, I think. Yeah, there we go. And one little thing, this is now 111 wide in scale. We are gonna reduce that a little bit to 0.7.7.7 because our tiles are 111 in scale, so these guys will then not take up the full space of the tile. We might adjust these numbers a little bit later, but it's probably gonna work, and I think we can just reduce the height of the object a little bit. So we're gonna put that to 0.4. Yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna do this so-called prototype models there first, just to get things going. Right. Huh. Ooh. Okay. Well, so that's the graphics setup for the attacker prefab. While I think about it, we can create 3 materials, which we are going to assign to each and every one of them. So then we're going to create material in the materials folder, that is attacker material, duplicate it, defender material, and then king material. Cool. Attackers, they're red. We might need to adjust our tile material in that case. Yeah, special tiles. Yeah, we'll just leave it for now, fix it later. So attackers are red, defenders, they're a very kind of ivory yellow color. And the king, he can be, for now, he can just be a super duper cyan color. So he's clear. Okay, we're gonna assign the material, attacker material, to the mesh renderer component of the cylinder under attacker prefab. You can just also drag and drop it on the cylinder and it'll work. There we go. So this guy is now red. Cool. So we're just gonna duplicate this guy, and we're gonna call this defender underscore prefab, and underneath there we have to drop the defender material onto that cylinder. There we go. And last but not least, add the king. So king prefab. Add the material to the king. There we go. Pull him out. Boom. So 3 different game pieces so far. The one thing that we have to do is that we're gonna have to offset the position in the y-axis. What is it? About 0.4? Yeah. Since we reduced the height scale of the guy to 0.4, we're offsetting its position, its local position that is, by 0.4, so that our pivot is at the bottom of the character. You see here? So then when we instantiate this character, it will be spawned exactly on top of a tile. That's a point about having these guys as children of the object itself. There we go. So offset all these cylinders to 0.4 in the y-axis position, and just to I slided these guys out. They need to be 0, 0, 0. So all of them, just put them at 0, 0, 0 in position. Cool. And then we can drop every prefab into our prefab folders. So king, defender, and attacker. Then we can delete these guys out of the scene. All right. Let's check our time here. Yeah. I'm gonna end this episode on this one, because now we have the setup ready for the next one, which is probably gonna be a little bit longer episode. So I'll see you in the next episode.